and the hunter scrabbled to his feet in sheer terror. His hand jumped instinctively to the bag hanging from his belt. He fought with the lashings, desperately wrenching them free until he could tear the fibre sack loose and hold it before him. The creature's eyes flashed. It screamed out and lunged at him, sending the bag flying from his grip and skidding across the ice into the mouth of the tunnel. With the creature's frenzied screeching ringing in his ears, the hunter dropped to his knees and scrabbled after it, dragging himself in through the narrow folds of rock. The cold seeped up into his palms, then the gut-churning stench of putrefying meat wafted in from behind him. Pain erupted in his ankles and panic took hold. He screamed out, struggling as unseen teeth hacked into his flesh and stripped the strings of muscle from his bones. Clouds of steam billowed up into the night as his blood spilt out in rivers, and the freezing air congealed with the crunching of bone. As the world began to fade, he reached forward and dug his fingers into the surface of the ancient stone. Then, with all that remained of his strength, he heaved himself on into the dark. Chapter 1. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. 1. Harmsworth Island, Russian Arctic. Present day. Starshina Alexander Koikov ground the gearshift lever into neutral and brought the forklift juddering to a halt. It was mid-morning and just below freezing. In the new silence, he wasted no time lighting a papirosa and taking a long drag. As the tar-heavy smoke tripped from his nostrils, he traced a finger across his scar. The rest of his jaw was covered in coarse, week-old stubble. But nothing had ever sprouted from the distinctive hook of scar tissue gouged into his cheek, not a single bristle, and now the cold was causing it to ache. It was 2 months since his detachment had been posted to the Albanov icebreaker. As far as Koikov was concerned, being a member of Department V could be the best job in the world. Could be. His squad's last rotation had been to Chechnya, where he had spent 3 months dispatching prominent Chechen rebels and almost having his balls blown off by a sniper in the process. The proudest day of his life was when he had been promoted from sergeant to starshina at the end of that tour, but this new detail, working security on some pampered gas tycoon's boat in the high Arctic, it was a sentence, not a sortie. It was dull as shit. He pushed the collar on his jacket up around his chin and tugged at his knit cap, stretching it down over the tops of his ears. And what about his men? Like him, they were no ordinary soldiers. They had all endured the same selection program, the brutal interrogation exercises, the endless forced marches and nighttime parachute jumps, and they had all seen their share of action since. From long experience, Koikov knew that charging men like his with tycoon babysitting was a gamble. Hardened, well-trained and well-disciplined they may have been, but they were also human. Humans got bored. Bored humans got sloppy, elite or not. He watched as Junior Sergeant Sharova and Private Dolgonazov emerged from behind one of the half-dozen barrack blocks dispersed around the incomplete runway at the heart of the old military compound. The only other things still standing were a couple of rusting, partially collapsed hangars, an old crane and the 3 conjoined concrete bunkers peering up out of the bedrock right in front of him. Trails of steam gushed from the men's shoulders as they rolled another enormous metal drum towards the forklift. Moments later, they were joined by Private Udina, whose bear-like stature made a toy of his rifle as he slung it around onto his back and pitched in. Koikov had half hoped that the sub-team's deployment onto the island itself might have boosted their morale a little, at least served as a distraction, but the expressions on the faces of the 3 men only reconfirmed what he already knew. Clearing up a bunch of old petrochem containers in sub-zero temperatures was a million miles short of stimulating. He restarted the forklift's engine and lowered the carriage so that they could heave the recumbent drum up onto the forks. With the clamp secured over the top of it, he then killed the engine once more and jumped out of the cabin. He slapped a palm against the side of the drum. "How many more are there?" 50 or 60, Sharova replied. "Plus a bunch of smaller canisters, mostly full." "Can we be finished today?" Before Sharova could respond, Dolgonazov let out a loud, indignant snort and slumped back against the side of the forklift cabin. "What the fuck are we doing here, Starshina?" Koikov looked.